October 13th. Just kidding. It's the 14th. But it is officially day one of corn harvest. Exactly 2 weeks after we started bean harvest. We kind of took the weekend not off. We were just running a lot of cover crop stuff this weekend and it was a little wet. So I guess we're starting today. It's like 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Kind of starting over, like my dad and my grandpa just feuding a little bit. So dad is starting just to like prove grandpa wrong. I don't really know how to word it, but they are just arguing at each other. And so we're starting corn harvest today.
Yeah.
It is day 3 of corn harvest, kind of. Yesterday, day 2, did not go at all the way we planned. So we ran some corn Tuesday night. We have about 2,000 bushels of storage on our wagons. So we filled all the wagons up and didn't dump anything that night. Just got started kind of late in the day, wanted to have everything filled up. We were like, okay, Wednesday morning, we're gonna have a great early start. We're gonna dump this and everything's gonna go great. So we spent yesterday morning getting the dryer cleaned out, just making sure there was nothing left built up from last year, making sure the airlock motor turned so that once the dryer was hot, we could unload the dryer, and getting the bin ready, making sure the sweep was in place and all the doors were closed. Got all that done. It was about 11 o'clock. Still felt like we were gonna make a really good start. Grandpa drove up to unload the first wagon and the auger made about 10 revolutions, didn't even get corn going into it, and the chain on the top of the wet bin came apart. So we were able to get no corn into the wet bin. I am 28 weeks pregnant, so there was zero chance I was going to climb on top of our wet bin, and I could have opened the bin lid so that we could have used a different auger, or unhooked that auger so that we could have gotten it down and fixed. But I just don't do heights very well not pregnant, and I definitely don't do them at all pregnant. So we waited till my husband got home and he was able to go up there, lowered the auger down so he could reach it, got a new master in place. Last night we got all the corn unloaded and the auger worked through those 2,000 bushels. So like hopefully we are not messing with this auger all through the season, because we can't be down all day like waiting for him to get home to climb up there for us. So we would have to come up with a different solution. But got all the corn unloaded, and it takes about 2 to 3 hours for me personally to get our dryer stabilized. I don't know if other guys have better luck getting that done like in a faster amount of time. I don't know. So I did not stabilize it last night, or I didn't start it last night because it just would have been like 9 o'clock before it really got stabilized. And then at 300 bushels an hour, like it wouldn't have ran all night anyways. So we just decided to get everything dumped, start fresh in the morning. I did load my dryer so that it was full of corn waiting for me this morning, because that takes about 30 minutes. And now we are up here heating up the dryer. We have a GSI 1112 dryer. We can dry between 250 to 400 bushels an hour, just depending on what our moisture is coming in, what I'm targeting for going out. So I started it about a half an hour ago and we are up to 86 degrees. This corn was 23% coming in, so I don't think I want to start unloading till I'm like 105, 110 degrees. I can't let it get all the way up to temp because then the dryer will overheat if I don't start dumping a little bit of it before we get all the way up to temp. We do a continuous dry system, and I think this is my 4th year running the dryer, 3rd to 4th. It is not my favorite job just because it is like there's a lot of pressure to get this job done really right, and a lot of little things that can go wrong, it feels like. But we're starting drying today, hopefully. Okay, about an hour and a half from when I initially started the dryer, we've pulled our first sample. I love that for a first sample. I stole one of my kids' whiteboards, and I'm gonna try to keep it on a whiteboard this year instead of in my phone. I might like it, I might not like it. We will just see how that part goes. My grandpa always used to write it down on a piece of paper that still hangs out like up here, and it's always just whatever paper he could find. So I think if I write it on the whiteboard and then take pictures of it, that's gonna be the best way for me to keep track. And then I try to write down like where my plenum's at, where I've got my grain temp set at, my roll speed, so that I can look back and just relate that as we go through the season. So hopefully everything runs today and we get some corn dried and off the fields. The day unfortunately did not go to plan, and instead of getting any corn ran, we lost the hydraulic pump on our combine. So we initially had blown it off from all the bean dust and kind of adjusted some things. So we thought maybe there was just a loose wire or something, but no luck. After more than a week of being shut down from our combine, the hydraulic charge pump or something, some really expensive hydraulic pump anyways, and having none like in dealerships anywhere near us, it had to come from the factory. So after all of that headache, we ran for one day before it broke. Now it broke. The part came in yesterday. We were waiting for a couple sensors. Took 3 parts runs yesterday to finally get everything we needed, hopefully. They're gonna be out this morning. Hopefully they put that on and we are back to harvesting corn. Hopefully that goes not really bad, but I'm in our big bin today. So we dried like 2,000 bushel of corn that we had ran the one day. I'm gonna pull a sample from around the bin and just see, so I know what it was coming out of the dryer at. Now it's sat in here for a week and we'll be able to see what it's stabilized at. Obviously, like, this isn't really something we'd have an opportunity to do very often because the corn would just still be coming in and coming in and coming in, and we would be past like a point where we could grab a sample. It was coming out of my dryer anywhere from 15.5 to 16% and like 120 to 130 degrees. It just tested at 14.7, so I'm gonna try to get it a little hotter so that it'll cool more, but 14.7 is not terrible. We do try to shoot, I'd like the whole bin to stabilize at like 13.5% is my goal. I don't know why that's my goal. That's what my dad tells me my goal is. I did run a second sample just to make sure. I always double sample. And that one was 14.5. So, I mean, anything below 15 is accepted when we sell it in the spring. But we do want to hold, we'll hold this anywhere from April to July, just depending on what the markets do. So that's part of shooting for that little bit lower, moisture than the 14.5%. But because I was only running 2,000 bushels, my dryer wasn't really, like, I had my grain temp set at 130 and we never really hit that stabilization point. I turned it on to unload a little early, and so the grain just didn't get as hot as I really wanted it to. So hopefully today when we get running and get everything stabilized, we'll be getting there. But now I know based on what my samples were and what today's sample is, I can play with it a little bit more. And we successfully got the combine up and running. Not we, our mechanics. That was a bigger project than I can do. So we definitely hired mechanics, local mechanics, to do that project. But they got us up and running, and happy Sunday. We have some beautiful harvest weather here. Today we are just opening up this field. Our test plot's down on the other end, so we wanted to get it opened up so that we can come back and run that on a later day. We don't plan to stay on this field because we want to start hauling some corn. That's a little bit farther away and work some different fields. This one's pretty close to home. So just working quick to get it opened up today. It has light poles on 3 of the 4 sides, so it's really fun to open up, I feel like. We do predominantly try to take Sundays off, but after being down for almost 10 days with that hydraulic pump, the sun's shining and we're running, so we won't. I'm caught to my dryer, so I was gonna say we aren't gonna push hard today, but we maybe could run 2 more sets on a different field, but we've got this as opened up as we want it, and it's just a good point to quit on a Sunday. So